get something to drink. No, I was back like 30 seconds ago. Oh shit. Yeah.
Alright, welcome everybody to the ACC League of PCDC Motorsport. Today your directing and commentary will be by Stanislav Mail, which is me, and we have the great privilege to have with us Walter Koster, aka Rubix, or aka Florian Denzler.
Hello, that's me.
And so before we go to racing here, let's take a look at the grid. Or not the grid, I should say. Take a look at the track. Second view. So, for the track today, we have the Mount Panorama Circuit. Great circuit that is in New South Wales, Australia. 23 turns. 6.213 kilometers long and 3.861 freedom units long. For the race format for today is going to be a 60-minute warm-up, and then we'll have 15 minutes of qualifying, and then a 60-minute race with one mandatory pit stop with a tire change, and the drivers can't take any fuel. Also take a look at the championship standings. So in the lead we still have Marcus Lawrence, who is closely followed by Vincent Erbrick, who funnily enough hasn't raced for 2 races now, I think.
Yes.
So he's still in second there, which, you know, shows how dominating he was early on. Then we have Arnsman in third, Layson in fourth, Denesi in fifth, Awa in 6th, Benzel in 7th, Njergish in 8th, Falkenberg in 9th, Wansink in 10th, Taylor in 11th, Rainy Kari in 12th, which I think Rainy Kari was actually a new entry from last race, so he's done really well. Then Person in 13th, then Stuffer, then Daniels. And 16th we have Parnell, Levens Martins in 17th, Springer in 18th, Hurst in 19th, Van den Hudding in 20th, De Jong in 21st, or also known as Robert Jan de Jong. Then in 22nd we have Arnold, 23rd we have Friedrich, then Tuck, then another Friedrich apparently, so I must have put the graphics there. Then we have Fretwell, then Short, then Ford in 28th, then Nick Deal in 29th, and to round it off we have Knuckle in 30th. We can also take a look at the team standings. So at the top we still have Sven Racing with 116 points, then AOSP with 84, then Mist Apex with 74. Then we have Spinala in 4th, Benny the Bentley still in 5th, Lexus Race moved up to 6th, H7K into 7th, 8th we have ARC Motorsport, 9th we have Team Laud and Mercy, then we have Prairie Racing, then Pineapple Racing, then Cruising Waffle Racing, Mad Macalaz Racing, and then Verslas Racing. So with that all being said, we should be heading into quali here soon enough, but before that let's ask Walter Koster here, how do you think the drivers will do today on the track, and do you know Bathurst well? Do you like the track?
I haven't learned it that much in ACC, to be fair, only in some other games. But it's a really demanding track, obviously. The walls are always really close to the track. If you make a mistake somewhere on top of it, you're most likely gonna end up in the wall and maybe even finish your own race. Let's hope that doesn't happen that much today. We will see.
Yep, let's see, I think I gotta turn you up a little bit here so that people can actually properly hear you, but it'd still be fine.
Yeah,
oh yeah, that's
better now. Yeah.
That's some nice bass there in the background.
Yeah, excellently touched the microphone stand.
Well, let's take a look here. We should be getting into quali soon. That being done, yeah, Bathurst, very long track, very challenging, and I think the temperatures have been really high as well. I think the track temperature was like anywhere from like 40 to 45 degrees, so The tires are definitely going to be a factor, I think, for whoever can manage those pretty well.
Yeah, also what's gonna be interesting is what downforce package are some people gonna run. I mean, there are two really long straights on this track, with the mountain straight and the Conrod straight, which is basically a back straight that leads up to the chase. And maybe we see some people that have maybe a lower top speed that are maybe then quick on top of the hill.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. I should be switching to qualifying anytime soon now. I wonder why that is not happening, but...
I see most cars in the pits at the moment, so it's only a matter of the next seconds or so. But we already see in the practice now that is running since about an hour, that the times are really close. We have the top 17 cars in about 3 seconds alone. Should be up for an exciting qualifying.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I got a message from Res Daniels that we're actually starting 5 past with the quali because the practice server apparently started a bit late, so that's the reason why we're starting a bit late here. Let's see if we can already follow someone around the track then.
Yeah, we have a few cars out on the track at the moment. Ruben van den Hudding, for example, is just starting a timed lap.
Yeah, so a returning battle, I don't know if you've watched any of the streams, Rubix, but a returning battle we've been seeing is Lawrence versus Arnsman. That has been like a bit of a battle throughout the season so far. And then I think Layson is close behind, but Arnsman and Lawrence are usually like a couple of thousands between each other, so it'll be interesting to see how they can manage this track.
The last race where Lawrence got the better outcome with P1, but also Arnsman had won the race before that and Kialami, so we will see who Lawrence can replicate his win from last week again. Or if he's gonna struggle a bit more this time.
It was actually the other way around, I believe.
Oh yeah, that's a qualifying position that you got in the last race. Lawrence had the...
Last race, Lawrence did the second SpaceX launch, where he went off in 130R, so...
Not really a common mistake for him. Normally he's a really consistent driver, so I guess he wants to redeem himself this week.
Yeah, that was the thing. We were actually really surprised to see him make a mistake there, because that, doesn't happen a lot. It would be the same like when Jim Boom or Vincent Herbert would make a mistake. It's also very rare, so yeah. But Arnsman got actually his first win last time around, so maybe he'll be looking to replicate that a bit today. But I'm guessing Marcus is also gonna try and set it right and try to get the win here. So it's gonna be very interesting. So it's 5 past now, so we should see quality starting anytime soon.
Yeah, also we have who finished in P2 in last week's race on Suzuka, which was Joshua Layson. He's in P3 at the moment in the practice, so he wants to have a talk about the fight as well.
Yeah, true. I actually, that's something I forgot, but last time around I think Layson actually had, towards the middle of the race and the last part, he had the same pace as the leader, so I think he's definitely capable of keeping up with them, but he just needs to have a decent qualifying and start, I think.
Yeah, the qualifying is really important, especially on Bathurst. I mean, if you're stuck on the hill behind other cars, it's really difficult to pass them. Also, if the cars ahead then have slipstream from from the whole train, it gets really difficult to get past cleanly. So it's going to be one of the main things today to look out for. The moment we see Ford trying to maybe already do a quali run.
Yeah, I'm guessing most people are trying to get their quali runs in at the moment, but I think most people are in the pit at the moment, just waiting for the server to skip over. You have 23 runners today, but I think we will. It is very likely that we'll see quite a bit of retirements in this one.
Yeah, definitely possible, but also even if you have damage, if you can repair it and you can go out again, you probably can maybe get some positions back if other people crash out later in the race, so all about keeping the car clean.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're someone like Robert Jan de Jong, where you just punt people out of the way. That also helps, of course.
As long as he doesn't damage himself or gets a penalty post-race.
Yeah, I think that's a strategy, just like stealth takeouts. I mean, he's known for it in the PCDC community, and we will remind him every race of it.
Yeah. He got himself a bit of a reputation, but also most of the time he's not an unfair driver. Sometimes contacts happen. We will see what happens today.
There we go.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Now we're going into quali. Cool. So here we go. Then for the quali, we see everyone early heading out. I think Lawrence was the first one out of the pits. Everyone's gonna try and get us fast around the track, probably trying to not overheat their tires because it is very hot on the track at the moment. With about 39 degrees on the track, so it is a bit less than before, but yeah. See how the drivers do here, because I do think the tires towards the end of the stints are probably gonna matter a bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be important to not overheat him. It won't be that much of an issue in qualifying, I guess, but it's definitely gonna be one in the race to look out for.
Yeah. That being said, we do have a mandatory tire change halfway down the race, so we will see how people manage that. But I don't imagine anyone will try to overcut, because with this, you know, this kind of heat on the track, I don't think it would be wise to overcut. Just run longer on the worn tires.
It all depends on the track position as well. Maybe sometimes when you're stuck behind someone for a longer period of time and you think you can be quicker and clean air, it's maybe worth to try and overcut if the guy ahead pits early, but all depends on the situation.
Yeah.
We see already a tiny bit of a traffic jam down the mountain straight. Is it the mountain straight? Down the Convert straight. With people trying to leave a bit of a gap.
Yeah, definitely. We'll, people are trying to get around as fast as possible to get their lap in, but then also trying to keep enough space so that if someone in front of them makes a mistake, they're not being held up, of course. But yeah, most of our runners, I think, are on the track. I think everyone's actually on the track, and we'll see who can set the benchmark for the first round of laps.
You don't have that many laps to set a decent time on the straight, because with over 2 minutes you maybe have like maximum 3 runs that you can do in the short 15-minute qualifying, so every lap counts.
Yeah, indeed, like it's gonna be 3 laps, but if you waste a little bit of time getting to the pits and getting out again, do like a slow out lap, then it could actually only be 2 runs as well. So yeah, people are gonna have to make it count whenever they do their lap. That's where, go ahead.
Yeah, here we see Marcus Lawrence trying to go as close to the walls as possible, try to gain every inch.
Yeah, he's definitely looks to be a good lap. Looks quite smooth. I'm guessing he's still holding back a bit though. But then again, we have already seen that a lot of the times people like Lawrence and Airbrick actually put their fastest lap in at the start of the session rather than the end of the quality session. So yeah, as he's coming down the mountain, we'll have this heavy braking zone. Hopefully the car in front doesn't hinder him. Seems to hook it up nicely. Bit of a touch on the curb, but doesn't seem to matter that much. Get the braking right for the last corner. The Porsche goes a bit wide there. Lawrence seems to have a good run though. Let's see, 201.8, which I'm not quite sure in these conditions how good that is. Can't really guess at that, but you also see Levins, Martins, De Jong, and Harvey getting their times in.
They are all quite a bit off of Marcus, so it looks like it's a good lap, but we still need to see like Arnsman and so on to set some competitive lap times.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so Arnsman actually on his first lap, he's a second off, which is rare to see that he's so far off. First lap.
He's in the pits already again, so...
Yeah, we do see more and more people getting their laps in, but so far Lawrence really dominating lap teams with a 201.8 with about a second ahead of second place. Again, I do think when people get their second laps in, they'll definitely improve. Here, most people are actually electing to go on 2 flying laps, it seems. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, because Lawrence is on another lap already. And then we have Whip, who's also on a lap. The Young is still going for a second lap, so...
It looks like Marcus even can improve his lap time at the moment.
Yeah, again, as he comes down the mountains, he's actually 7 tenths up, so 6 tenths now, but going into this last braking zone, maybe he can make up a little bit, but that's gonna extend the gap by quite a bit there. Actually improve. And he will improve by 7 tenths, so a 201.1, which puts him 1.7 seconds ahead currently, and it doesn't look like anyone is gonna challenge him so far. So,
Arnsman is still in the pits, so he's not trying to challenge the time at the moment. Then towards the back, like from P3 onwards, it's really close between most of the competitors.
Yeah, so we do have a big improvement coming in 6th place there. Whip, he's gonna improve by quite a bit here. He's 8 tenths up, so if he keeps this together, he will move up by...
He could even get P2 if he...
Yeah.
He can increase the gap a tiny bit more.
Do you hear how he does? Oh, actually just gets P2 by about half a tenth. Really good job for Whip there.
Oh, and there he gets stolen again.
Oh yeah, Falkenberg. Okay.
Well, looks like the second lap for some people is actually the quicker one. It was for Marcus the case as well as for Whippy and Falkenberg, so I suspect we're just gonna see one more run from most people with 2 more flying laps.
Yeah, so about half the qualifying gone. People really need to get their good laps in. They will have, they get their lap in now, they'll have one more run at it. And then that will have to be it as someone actually hits the wall there.
It was Harvey just in front of Robert Jan de Jong. Let's hope it didn't cost him too much time, because he has some good sector times this lap. He could challenge for the top 5s with that lap time if he keeps it.
Yeah, if he gets the braking zone completely right here, he might gain a little bit more. But definitely looking good for him. But yeah, so far, again, Lawrence not looking to be challenged much here today. See how he does here. P3, pretty good, pretty good.
In front of his teammate.
Yeah, exactly.
By about 1/10. The back we just saw Domi improving up to P9, passing Peter Pan in the timing sheets. And Joshua Layson gets a good time in and is now in P3.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. Layson actually, I think, has always qualified just outside the top 5 and then has struggled to find a bit of pace early on into the race. But if he can find his racing pace early on into the race, he'll actually be able to challenge quite well, I think. But again, if there's more than a second here between P1 and then 2 and 3, it's going to be hard for them to actually keep up. If Lawrence can actually keep that kind of race pace.
Yeah, that is the big question at the moment. If he can keep that momentum up for the race as well and keep the distance, because then we will have quite a boring race probably, if you can say that on this racetrack, but I'm not so sure about it.
Yeah, it's one of those things as well where we say like, oh, he's gonna run away with it, but then again you can't never really count on traffic not getting in the way, or just the drivers making a mistake on this track. Like if Lawrence gets one of his braking areas wrong down the hill, then this race might be over. So
can be really quick on this racetrack, as we see. Okay, Wes Daniels just has a bit of an off in the last turn, that costs him a better position at the moment. But he still has 4.5 minutes left to gain a few positions.
Arnsman actually went up into second there, but I think Layson is actually gonna beat all of them by quite a bit. He's 8/10 up, so he's looking to be about half a second off of Lawrence. As he comes across the line here, we'll see. Yep, so 5/10 off of the leader Lawrence, so he'll be pretty pleased with that, I think. And now we see everyone going out. It'll be their last run, the last lap they can get in, if everyone goes out of the pit now.
Yeah, and it looks like that they will only have one more flying lap, because it's still already under 4 minutes. So they will only have one flying lap and not two, like at the start of the quali session.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone else improving? Peter Parnell actually, 11th place. He's 8/10 up, so that'll be a massive improvement for him if he can keep this up. That might give him 6th, 7th place around there.
Yeah, he had a really good mountain section.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can keep it together. It's in the Bentley. It's obviously tricky. It's a really heavy car, so he needs to nail the braking point now for the chase.
Nail it. Doesn't look bad, looking at the relevant. He's keeping it together. Just that last braking zone he needs to nail, and then he's in for a pretty good starting position.
We already saw quite a few people that lose it a bit on the exit of the last turn, but not Carney at the moment.
Alright, so 8th place for him, actually. 6th, 7th, and 8th. All Bentleys, and technically they're all teammates, but obviously we only allow 2 teammates per team, so Barney is in his own team, but I think in spirit they're very much teammates, those 3, so.
And the awesome pineapple racing livery. Always a fan favorite.
Yeah, it looks really good as well. That a really light blue, greeny, whatever you have to call it. Looks really good on the track. Just a really nice contrast to have on the track.
And now we see most people starting to do their last flying lap. Like Whippy, for example. He's now into turn 1. See if he can improve. Only one warm-up lap, so the tires are maybe not up to temperature at the start.
Just saw Ryan Daniels aborting his lap, so he won't be able to get out anymore for another lap. Lawrence so far coming down the hill, actually looking to improve his time a little bit more. So far Rabi Hawa also up by quite a bit, so
We also have John Ford, who is like just in the mountain section at the moment. He is in P14, and if he can improve his lap time by just 2 tenths, he could already gain 2 places. That's how close the field is here at the moment.
yeah, also something interesting to notice. Yeah, Lawrence is gonna have quite an improvement here. Actually, 4 tenths, he seems to be up. Yeah, so that puts him again 9 tenths away from Layson. And he still has time to do one more lap, but he's electing not to. I think he's happy with his time there. Which I think a 2:0 point, whatever it is, I think is really good in these track conditions. If it's really hot, doesn't seem to be any clouds in the sky, so it's gonna be, tarmac is gonna be burning up.
Yeah, we still have a track temperature of about 39 degrees, plus all the cars running on the racing line at the moment. It's not easy for all the drivers in here, but it looks like a lot of people are improving their lap time at the moment. Arnsman about half a second quicker than his best lap, could maybe even fight for P2 if he can nail the last turn.
Seems like he does, so goes up to second actually. Nice. Layson doesn't seem to be improving his time.
He's in the last sector of the track, just one more corner.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna be an improvement. Actually, no one seems to be having any more improvements, so... Actually 1/10, which actually moves him back up into second. In that last corner he gained a 10th there, which which put him up in second by 400ths actually. So yeah, really good job for him.
One of the cars still on the track is Robert Jan de Jong. He's trying to break into the 3 Ferraris right in front of him in the grid. Already 3 times up. Had a really good chase here in this lap.
That is looking good. That might see him move up into 6th or 5th, depending on this last corner here. That will actually be 5th place, I think. There we go, 5th place for the Young. Alright, so we're gonna have a small 5-minute breaks, and then we'll have a full rundown of the grid, so we will see you in about 5. Alright, welcome back everybody. Again, it's me, Stanislav Mill, together with my co-commentator Florian Denzel, I'll call him this time. And we will give you a full rundown of the grid here. So in first place in qualifying we had Marcus Lawrence, but right behind him Joshua Layson in the Ferrari. Then we had Thomas Arendsman in third with the Aston, and then we have Samuel Falkenberg. Then
Falkenberg has some connection issues. He was shortly disconnected from the Discord as well, so let's see if he can make it.
Yeah, I don't think he will then. That's a shame. He has been having internet issues, so that is a shame. So then De Jong was in 5th. Then we have Danesi in 6th. Awa in 7th. Whip in 8th. Arnell in 9th. And Friedrich in 10th.
In P10 then we have Dominic Persson. P11 is Robin van den Huying. P12 is Levin Martins. In P13 we have John Ford, who is surprisingly not driving a Ford. Then we have in P14 Elvis. In 15 Harvey. In 16 we have George Gribble. 17 Ryan Daniels, 18th Eddie Phillips, and in 19th Andy Howard.
Alright, so then to round off the grid we have in 21st Colin Tuck, 22nd we have Fonseca, and then Nirgesh we have in 23rd. In the who actually Nirgesh had a quali ban, so he'll be serving that this time around, which makes him start at the back of the field. So as we're coming down down the hill here, we see everyone is gonna start to I don't know if warming the tires is the right strategy at the moment on a hot track like this, but they sure are weaving. If it was me, I would have actually would have not warmed my tires just to save them a bit, save a bit of heat for that initial getaway, but
We'll see if that was the better strategy.
Yeah, so we'll see everyone bunching up here as we get to the last corner. Yes, unfortunately, Falkenberg's internet died again, guys, so nothing we can do about it. Unfortunately on his end. But we will see here as everyone's bunched up, we're running up to the line when we will get the green flag.
Green light, go, go, go.
So we have the green light for round 6 at Bathurst for the PCDC ACC League as Lawrence gets a good getaway into turn 1. Looks to be fairly clean behind him, a couple people running wide, but so far it looks like a pretty good getaway for everyone.
Yeah, no spins at all, no contacts in turn 1, that's good.
So yeah, Lawrence, the top 3 definitely got a very clean getaway. As we see behind here, a battle with Robert Jan de Jong with Danesi right behind him. Then we have Whip is in there with Hawa. While finding Robert Jan de Jong actually 4th, I think Arendsman in 3rd.
It looks like we haven't saw too many position changes at the front, but at the back we are still going too wide at some. It looks like they are all sorting them out now, trying to go into single file on top of the hill.
Oh, Hawa actually, Hawa in P7 has hit the wall going down into the S's. Not too hard of a hit, so hopefully not too much damage, but definitely gonna cost him some performance there.
Cornell tried to take advantage of him, but wisely backed out of that. Didn't try to go too wide into the dipper, especially not on the first lap.
You actually see now Marcus Lawrence does already have about a 1.5 second gap, but Arendsman is actually going to put a move on Layson here probably, as he's really close and he goes up into the inside. Gonna make it work. Side by side. No, he can't, and that means Robert Jan de Jong is right on there as well. He's now next to Aronsman, trying to go around the outside into the last corner. Bit of a bump there from Aronsman. Cut back from Robert Jan de Jong, back up into the inside. Is he gonna make it work for T1? Seems to have quite a good run. Still side by side out of the first corner there, and his teammate Whip is actually tactically just following Robert Jan de Jong through. Robert Jan de Jong goes defensive. Some teamwork here. This is pretty great to see.
Blocking Falkenberg a tiny bit, but let's see, can we make it stick on the brakes? On the outside it's tricky, it's a bit more off camber there, and he wisely backs out.
Yeah, so Robert Jan de Jong...
bit too much risk.
Robert Jan de Jong there, moving up into third place, Whip slotted back in behind Aronsman. But to me, I don't know about you, but it seemed like a very tactical decision by the two drivers there in positioning their cars. Which was neatly executed, I would say.
And maybe Jan de Jong could have given Whippy a bit more slipstream up the hill, but it's always easier to say in hindsight, obviously.
Exactly, and now Arnsman's still up to the back of Robert Jan de Jong though, and he'll definitely down the hill he'll definitely try to make something work, because I think the Aston Martin is actually slightly stronger on the straight than the Bentley. We'll see if he has anything to say here. Doesn't look like it, so they're all about pretty evenly spread apart now.
Whip also cannot close enough to try and dive up to the inside yet.
Yeah, in P13 we also have Luke Levens-Martin, who has quite a bit of front damage there as his hood is coming off a little bit. Has a bit of a gap in between the hood and the front bumper. He seems to have hit a wall somewhere, and he's actually dropping back quite a bit, so he must have quite a bit of damage. I don't know if he's gonna pit. Yeah, he's actually gonna go into the pits, so...
I was still outside of the pit window, so he still has to do a mandatory pit stop later on in the race. Mr. First needs to repair his damage.
Yeah, exactly, so it's not even like he can gain any time with this. He just has to go in to repair the damage, and he'll still have to make his pit stop, so that's a shame for him, as that will take him a bit out of contention of finishing in a good position, I think. But up and down the field, still a lot happening. We still have Robert Jan de Jong, Aronsman, and Whip running really close together there with the three of them. And
we have Kevin Elms and John Ford in the back for P17, just going side by side into the second turn, and Ford makes it stick and actually gets past Elms.
Yeah, for what it seems, I think Ford usually has a bit of trouble qualifying as well, but then during the race he can actually get a bit more race pace than the people around him usually, so I think we will still see him move up a couple of positions probably during the race. Here, Kevin Friedrich also has Niergesh, who is actually Niergesh remembers... Oh! Friedrich completely got it wrong in the S's and
hits the wall into the dipper.
Yeah,
quite a lot of damage now.
Yeah, his suspension is completely broken. Let's see if he can... Oh, this is dangerous.
He tries to stay out of the way, but it's obviously not easy with a broken steering.
Yeah, he's going insanely slowly. He can actually not turn left anymore, so he just decides to go to the pit. That is a shame. But as I was saying, Nergesh started in last position and has already made his way up into 14th, so he's doing really well.
Oh, yeah. He probably doesn't want to stop there. He wants to continue gaining some positions.
Exactly. I think in P8 as well we have Peter Parnell. We're gonna have a bit of a scrap here with Domi Person, I believe. Or is that Van den Hudding? Oh, that's actually Van den Hudding in the bush. Yeah.
He's staying to the inside, making sure that Van den Hudding cannot dive into turn 2.
So Parnell actually We've actually seen quite a bit of good races from him already this season, and he's actually surprised us quite a bit. Usually it's me and Pedro in here, but yeah, we've already talked about that he's actually surprised us quite a bit during these races.
He looks comfortable. He looks comfortable in the band play. Maybe also because it's right-hand drive and he's used to that from his real-life car. Oh, and there he goes a bit off track, but
we will ignore that. We didn't see that. It was just had a bit of a connection issue there, and we didn't see him for a little bit there. And then now he's up into P9. So yeah,
just a bit of oil on the track can happen. Could have happened to him. It was just unfortunate for him.
Like Nicky Team would say, Jackie, oil on the track. So I think the closest battle right now is probably between Robert Jan de Jong and Arensman, but seems like de Jong is actually holding on to this position quite well, even though he won't have the help of his teammate anymore. Arensman actually goes for the move there. Can he make it work? It was
a big send. He cannot make it stick. Goes on the grass. Tries to reach kind of in a relatively safely manner. But Whippy gets past him while doing that.
Yeah, so actually going for that move has actually made him lose out quite a bit, because now he's lost another position to Whip, and he has the two mates of AOSP, the Macy and Hauer, right behind him. So yeah. Not a well-calculated move.
Just braked a bit too late. Also had not the best of the exit now out of turn 1, so probably can't make a move on Whip, which is now out together with Robert Jan de Jong, his teammate, both in the podium places.
Yeah, so that's the Benny the Bentley guys.
And Mason is in the pits.
Oh, Mason in the pits.
He was in P2 last lap, I think.
Yeah, so he must have made a mistake somewhere on the mountain. Guessing it's in the downhill section. That's usually where people make their mistakes.
Yeah, we already saw some cars having a bit of a harder contact with the wall at those spots, especially after Skyline.
Meanwhile, our leader here, Marcus Lawrence, putting in some consistent pace. Doing 202.7s. Best lap.
The only one that is in the 2s at the moment.
Yep, exactly. So, you know, judging by the quali, you know, we were right that he probably would start to run away with this race. It has also not helped, of course, for the guys behind him that they've constantly been fighting each other. Just lost them a lot of time.
Oh, Eddie Phillips with some issues. He just went straight at Skyline. It looks like he hit the wall hard somewhere. His engine cover is wobbling around a bit, so he probably has to pit now.
Oh yeah, he can barely get his car turned around.
Yeah, trying to get out of the way of everyone.
It's the same.
He manages quite well at the moment.
Yeah, he's the same issues that Van der Hudding was having, so completely destroyed his car there. The suspension is broken, everything.
And same as Van der Hudding, he stops the car at the forest elbow.
So 10 minutes into the race and we've already had 3 retirements. Not sure.
I mean, not sure if at the moment we have 3 people that are in the pits retired, which is Kevin Friedrich, Harvey and Joshua Layson, plus now Eddie Phillips. But that also brings near guests now up to P12 without actually passing someone. That's nice for him.
Yeah, what's actually interesting to see to me is that a lot of the teammates on here are actually really closely matched on pace. If we look at AOSP, which are in 5th and 6th, and then we have in 2nd and 3rd, we have the Benny guys. Not quite sure if there's another team. I think we have Colin Tuck and Kevin Elms. They are a bit apart in pace, but interesting to see that most teammates are running quite closely together.
It looks like the field is starting to spread out a bit, like everyone obviously tries to be cautious. Everyone now saw some damaged cars and wants to avoid that for their own good. Only one that is still consistently in the 202s is Marcus Lawrence. Which is he's already starting to lap some cars.
Alright, so in the chat we've had Falkenberg give us a little message here. So he says his wheel turned the maximum lock to the left, and then he had a freeze, so unlucky. Yeah, that's definitely unlucky, it sounds like.
It's really unfortunate after a good qualifying in P4.
Yeah, definitely, that could have been a really good race for him, so that's really unfortunate, actually.
Considering that Layson already had a crash in lap 3.
But yeah, as we see now, actually, Robert Jan de Jong is actually able to pull away a bit from his teammate and Arensman behind, so this is very positive for de Jong that his teammate can keep Arensman behind so far. And actually start to build quite a gap.
But Arensman is close to the whip, so
yeah,
twice to Bentley is a really wide car.
Yeah, again, it's gonna be hard, and especially you know, it's one of those things you have to take in consideration, but down the hill where he tried that move, obviously on the inside there's going to be less rubber. So he's going to have a really hard time out braking anyone on the inside, I think.
Yeah, and he's obviously now a bit scared after what happened last time when he tried to make a move onto Robert Jan de Jong into the chase where he lost out. Now going a bit on the grass again on top of the hill. So he is definitely on the limit.
Yeah. Probably also, you know, he's going to be in the dirty air from whip, which in these cars actually matters quite a bit. If you've ever been in them, it does really, you do really feel it when you're behind someone, and it takes a toll on your tires as well. A lot of toll on your tires, actually.
Peter Parnell is down in 16th. It looks like he had some kind of an incident.
Oh no.
He lost about 32 seconds in the last lap, so brushed the wall somewhere and had to go into the pits and take some repairs.
Yeah, I can see scratches all over the back of his car, and his rear bumper is actually a bit loose. I can see it shaking around, so he must have spun into a wall somewhere.
That will not help his downforce.
Not at all, so you will probably see him struggling quite a bit now from here on out. Yeah, his car is pretty heavily damaged. I can see the hood is also a bit loose there, so yeah, he's not gonna have a good time at the moment. Also see here
we have Ryan Daniels just behind Domi Person, and they are doing similar lap times at the moment, but Daniels is definitely capable of doing quicker lap times than Domi, so it's only a matter of time until he maybe starts to close in on him and possibly can get past him. And while that happens, we still have a battle for P3, with Arnsman still really close to Whippy and almost hitting the wall there.
Yeah, it seems that Arnsman's really pushing his car to the limit here, trying to keep up with Whip. And
did he hit a wall?
Not sure. Let me just.
He lost out a bit there on top of the hill. Like he was really close at turn 2, and then the gap between those two increased by quite a few car lengths, but it looks like it's fine again.
So actually, I think he had a pretty decent run out of the last corner here. Switch foot to the helicam to see here if he gets a good run onto the straight. Doesn't look quite close enough, but yeah, if he's gonna get it done anywhere, it has to be in the last sector or the first sector, one of those two. He's not gonna do it on top of the hill.
Yeah, it looks like he's struggling a bit just from straight line speed alone. He can't really close in even with the slipstream, so he probably wants to make a move into the last or the first turn, and Whip knows that obviously, and defense against him already into the last turn. Let's see if he can get a better one now.
Yeah, that is actually interesting. I didn't expect Whip to take the defensive line there, since he was quite a bit behind still. But Whip definitely taking a bit more of a neutral line, because as opposed to Arnsman there.
Maybe also trying to save his tires a bit for later in the race. But now Arnsman is close enough to maybe make a move. He's going for the outside, but tucks back in just before the braking zone.
Yeah, just a bit of a scare tactic from Arnsman there, I think. Trying to make Whip crack under pressure, under the pressure a little bit. But yeah, so far Arnsman can't get through, and Whip is doing a good job of keeping it behind. I think this is probably the biggest battle we have on the track at the moment, or the closest one.
Yes. I think we have Eddie Phillips in the pits again. He may be retired. Also, Miguel Fonseca is now going into the pits to repair a bit of damage.
Yeah, we definitely expected a bit of carnage here during the race, as Bathurst usually has that. So far it has been somewhat alright, and I think most people are, you know, repairing and getting back out there again, which is good to see.
Oh, we see a repeat of the battle again for Arnsman and Whip. They are going into the chase. Arnsman is close, so he probably tries to make a move again into the last of the first turn. Has a bad exit out of the chase, which gives him no passing opportunity for this lap.
Yeah, it seems that he just doesn't have that extra bit to get past Whip at the moment, so gonna be difficult through him all out the race, and this is where you might see the pit strategies come into play a little bit, where Arnsman might elect to either stay out a bit longer or try to get in a bit earlier than Whip to just make a better pit stop and try to get out ahead of him.
They are gonna run towards a bit of traffic now with Peter Parnell and Joshua Layson ahead. So maybe Arnsman can use that. They, like Layson and Parnell, may slow down really well on the mountain straight to let Robert-Jan de Jong pass before turn 2, so that was well done from everyone involved. See if it's that cleanly as well for the fight for P3.
Yeah, hopefully they'll only catch up at the end of the top section of the mountain here on the straight. That would be ideal, of course, because then both parties don't have to compromise as much as they would on top of the mountain, which seems like is gonna happen. But that does also mean that Whippy is gonna get a little bit of help here, getting some slipstream off of the back markers in front of him. Something that is interesting that I'm starting to note here, Marcus Lawrence's pace is actually dropping down quite a bit, so I think his front tires, actually, as I say that, he does a 2.9, but his last lap was a 2:04, so maybe the tire wear is kicking a little bit for Lawrence, and De Jong is actually getting faster as he goes on, I think, so.
See, looks like at the back. Oh, Levin Martins clips the wall a bit after the cutting, but not a lot of damage. He saved it relatively well, so he should be able to continue. Looks like we have a bit of a fight for P10 now as well, with Mia gets closing in on Twibble with only half a second between those two. both Whip and Arnsman trying to gain everything that is possible for them down the hill. Obviously the only important bit for Whip is the exit out of Forest Elbow. He goes a bit wide on the apex, but still manages to get early enough on the throttle to have a good space between him and Arnsman.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like this battle will go on for a bit, and again I think, oh actually, yeah, Arnsman quite a good run. Is Whip going to go defensive? Arnsman is going to again try the inside, but not going to work there as he's just a bit too far behind there. I think, yeah, not really much going on in the grid. Everyone's kind of spread out. I think maybe Raz Daniels and who's that in front of him? Domi Person. They might have a battle here soon, as Ryan Daniels seems to be a tiny bit quicker.
Yeah, he seems to be a bit quicker for some time now, but he just can't manage to close the gap. But what's going to be interesting now with those few battles that we have is that the pit window is going to open in about just less than 2 minutes. So if Arnsman thinks that he can be quicker, especially on top of the hill than Whip, he maybe tries to undercut him.
And I think as well the AOSP boys are still running quite fine. I think they're still in 5th and 6th. Yeah, Arnsman has actually now dropped a bit back from Whip. Not too much, but there's definitely a bit of a gap between them now. I think traffic might have come into play a little bit, I'm not sure. But again, Arnsman seems to be really pushing his car. See how Whip becomes up behind Layson here. Layson is gonna probably get out of the way here. He'll probably, yeah, just letting off the throttle a little bit, so.
And while that happened, oh, Hava in P6 just smashed the wall at the exit of the Forest Elbow. He already made a mistake earlier in that lap. And Danesi could use that small error and get past Hava into P6. Looks like Hava has some minor damage now on the front, so he will obviously try to pit as soon as the pit window opens now, which is gonna be in just a few seconds, and repair his damage.
Yeah, so actually, if anything, this is the perfect timing for him to pit here. Yeah, as he elects to go in, which is definitely the smartest decision, so he'll get his damage repaired and he will get his pit stop done, so that's at least a positive for him. Even though he hit the wall there.
The question is if we see some more incidents like that now towards the end of the stint. Maybe people also want to not pit too early now, to not have those bad tires towards the end of the race again. Trying to even out both of the stints.
Yeah, so we actually see a couple of runners coming in. Of Daniels and Prebill also already coming in, so definitely electing to do their pit a bit earlier. But I think that might have to do with their fuel load. So, you know, by now they've burned quite a bit of fuel already, so the tires will last a bit longer than the first set in terms of wear. So we'll see how that plays out for them towards the end. Meanwhile, Lauren's still running comfortably at the front here.
Lauren's still now in the low threes in the last lap, so he's still setting the pace with Robert Jan de Jong. He's having a really boring race at the moment. He had some fights at the start, but then manages to get P2 through the crash of Layson and then just stay there and extend the gap to his teammate lap after lap.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. I think, I know Lawrence is, either likes to, well, most of the time he just likes to cut his race in half. So, That's usually his strategy. We'll see if he does that here, but
if you want to go to Hava in P13 at the moment, as they exit the pits, he has some cars really close behind him at the moment. With Tuck. Well, Tuck.
So Hava and Tuck both pitted already, so they'll be in a battle together. And then right ahead of them is the Young, actually. Yeah, so the Young still has to pit, of course, but he's still in clean air, so he might leave his pit out for a little bit longer.
He managed to pass Tuck just on the mountain straight, which is obviously really good for him. And right behind that, a small battle with Friedrich and Layson, which are really close together at the moment. They are only 1/10 apart. Battle for P19 at the moment, with both drivers not pitted yet. Oh, and Layson has a big off at Skyline. Goes into the wall after touching the gravel on the right hand side and now has some damage, so he probably will pit this lap and see if he can repair his damage.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a replay of that here. Oh, that is very interesting. Okay, so here we go. So we're climbing the mountain into the fast section as we're heading into Skyline. See what happens here. Yeah, so he just runs a bit wide. Oh, yeah, that's a big hit. That is a big hit. So yeah, that curb on the outside, I mean, we've seen loads of incidents in real life there, and it continues to catch out drivers in the sims as well. I think
it's a really tricky corner. You come up with really high speed there. You just need to clip the gravel a tiny bit with your right wheels and off you go.
Yeah, so that is not ideal for Joshua Layson, so this will be the second time. At least he can now take his normal pit stop as well, but he'll have to repair some damage as well, so that's not great for his race.
Another driver that is doing his pit stop at the moment is Marcus Lawrence in the lead, which gives Robert Jan de Jong a few miles where he is in P1, but he obviously still has the pit.
Yeah, so Marcus Lawrence, as I said, again, he likes to go just about halfway into the race to pit. Seems to be his preferred strategy, and most of the times it's worked for him, so... See now how long the likes of the Young and Whip and Arnsman decide to stay out. And again, pits are really important in ACC, as we know, you know. Getting the position of your car right saves you a lot of time. Because
that's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, because as we know in real life in Blancpain, if you're 2 centimeters off your box, they have to drag you manually into the box. So that's what happens in this game as well. It's a real simulation, guys.
Talking about 10 centimeters away is Arnsman behind Whip and Forrest's elbow. He got a bit of a worse exit while they are passing some lap traffic at the moment.
Yeah, so actually the best run Arnsman has got, he's now on the outside, which is... Oh, maybe a bit of contact.
Whip just leaves him enough room and both survive.
Yeah.
Whip doesn't want to pit before Arnsman does, so...
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit... I think Arnsman is just waiting for him to pit as well. I think he's just gonna follow suit on what Whip does, but this is gonna be their last lap. There's no more strategy that comes into play now. This is the last lap they can pit. So else they'll be too late for the pit window, I think.
Yes, indeed. It would be at just under 25 minutes then in 2 laps when they come close to the pit box, so
yep.
He will need to pit now, which makes you wonder why Arnsman didn't pit earlier. If he has a better pace, it looks like he has a better pace on top of the mountain. He could have tried the undercut, but now he missed that chance. So now he has to pass him either doing the pits or later on in the race.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see here how the pit plays out between those two, because yeah, again, I think Arnsman, if he can get ahead of Whip, then he'll definitely beat him on pace. Like, if he's in the clean air, I think he will just pull away, but it's the fact that he can't get past on top of the mountain, and the exit out of this, out of the dipper is like quite a bit harder if you're in someone's dirty air, so...
So we see Domi person is just exiting the pits, coming out in P7, just 2 seconds behind Robert van den Hudding. Robert Jan de Jong, who also needs to pit this lap, was a bit stuck behind the back marker on top of the hill, lost a few seconds, but still clear of his teammate Whip.
Actually, Arnsman just got his move done right before the pit stop here.
Oh, and Arnsman is not pitting.
Oh,
And it's only under 27 minutes left. If he doesn't, he will need to do like a 1 minute 40 lap time now to make it into the pits in time, and he's most likely not going to be able to do that because it would be about 20 seconds quicker than his previous best lap time.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, you do need to be out of the pits before the window is open, like up, right? I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure on that. Maybe someone in the chat can help us.
Does anyone know the official rules? If the pit window is closed, do you need to be out of the pits already by then, or is it just enter the pit by the end of the pit window?
"80-second penalty in the end of the race," says support Tony. Thanks for your support, Tony.
Yes, Tony. See here, do we have any fights? I think that Ryan Daniels and... yeah, so battle going on now between Ryan Daniels and Yergesh. As we now, I mean...
Looks like Domi Person gained a lot on his pit stop again, like he normally always does, where the gap was about just a bit over 1 second between him and Daniels. It is now almost 4 seconds.
I mean, Arnsman is just too late now. He can't even get in the pit on time.
No,
he just completely missed it.
Pit window closes in exactly 1 second now, and that's obviously an issue for him. Probably realized his mistake sometime during the lap.
Oh no, let's hope he doesn't go in the pit. No, don't go in the pit. No.
If he wouldn't go into the pits,
I think he just gets added on time if he does.
Well, we will find out. But that's obviously unfortunate for the Dutchman.
Oh man, that's really... I don't know what's gonna happen now, because he's not gonna get his pit stop counter isn't gonna go to 0, I think. Oh, he's just he's just retired. Oh no.
Oh no. Another interesting thing is that Rip is now a lot closer to Robert Jan de Jong, so we maybe see some fights in their own team if Whippy can keep the gap as close as it is at the moment.
Yeah, so obviously the Young must have had a pretty bad pit stop, and likewise Whip must have had a pretty good pit stop for them to be so close together, because I do think there was quite a bit of seconds between them.
Yeah, they had about 6 or 7 seconds before the pit stop, but obviously Robert Jan got a bit held up by a back mark on top of the hill, lost about 3 seconds from that, and then most likely didn't hit his pit box just right, and Whippy had an excellent pit stop, so...
Yeah, so we'll see now if Whip actually has, because he is, you know, in general was a tiny bit slower than the Young, but we'll see now and in the slipstream if he can actually keep up. But I think the most important section is just the mountain section is where you're going to lose the most time, and we actually already see the Young pulling a little bit of a gap here, but it does mean, with Arnsman making his mistake there, that the two Bentley boys are going to be second and third regardless, unless they make a big mistake.
Which they haven't done this race so far, so they have a really clean race.
Yeah, so By now we're down to about 19 runners. Layson actually in last, which is a position we won't see him much at. I think Whip actually slightly touched the wall on the outside there, going in the fast section, but seems to be fine. But yeah, Layson, usually definitely a top 5 runner, now struggling at the back because of his mistakes earlier.
Also, who seems to be really comfortable in the 41 degrees track conditions at the moment is Stomy Person. He just set a 2-minute 3.8, which is his personal best lap time, and is therefore almost half a second quicker than the guys behind him, like Ryan Daniels and Nierges.
Yeah, so actually if we look in front of him, Ruben van den Hudding has very similar pace. But they'll definitely slowly be making their way up to the Nacy up in 4th there. Because he's only about... Oh, let's see, they're actually 10 seconds or so behind him, but, you know, never know in the race. We'll see how the tire wear is towards the end for everyone. If anyone drops back. Actually, Van den Hudding making a big mistake there, going into the braking zone after the big straight. Was that not Van den Hudding? No, it was Van den Hudding is in the Porsche. I was looking at the McLaren. I think Van den Hudding was in the McLaren last season, that's why I was mixing him up.
Also, we see Nierges just slowly closing in on Ryan Daniels, already trying to play a bit of mind games, just showing his car in his mirrors all the time. But by doing that also compromises his toe line a bit, and not sure if that's helping him or not.
Yeah, so Nierges, I think probably we can safely say he's, considering where he started, he's looking to get a really good result out of this race. And I mean, at this rate, can even I don't think he'll quite challenge Person and Van den Hudding, but then again, we do see Person, his last lap now was a 2:05, so maybe struggling a bit, maybe some traffic, we're not quite sure.
There's also a battle forming for P10 at the moment between Hava and Bryn Elmes. Ferrari against Aston Martin. They are doing, like, Elmes had not really a good lap last lap with a 6.5, and Hava was more than 3 seconds quicker, so it's probably not a long time until Hava tries to make a move on him.
Yeah, it actually seems, oh yeah, I remember now how I did make a mistake on top of the mountain there, where he, in the last corner, I think, where he, destroyed his car a bit, so that's why he dropped
just
back.
Before Skyline,
Yeah. So, that's why he has actually dropped back, because he was running in P5 or 6 before, I think. So yeah, he'll definitely have the pace here to, overtake Ford, probably. But, we'll see. And managed here on the straight if he gets a good exit. Doesn't look like he's quite
also
close.
Gets a decent exit.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's gonna be quite close enough to pull a move here, but maybe under the braking he can get close to then pull a move off in sector 1.
Yeah, it looks like Hava is a lot more comfortable in especially the low speed turns. He can carry way more speed into the turns, so...
Yeah, we actually see him closing right up to the back there of John Ford. He's actually already showing his car on the inside there, maybe to throw Ford off a little bit.
Yeah, Elmes failing, like, going into the trap a bit, tries to defend into the last turn, therefore compromises his own line. Oh! Hava out, that's a bit surprised by the early braking of Elmes because he was trying to defend and therefore went tiny bit straight and had to open up the steering and the braking again to not hit Elmes. Good avoidance.
Yep, smart decision, definitely. Because I think we'd see a lot of drivers that would just go try to still make the corner there, but he was smart by just using the little bit more room you have on the outside there to make it a safe corner instead of hitting the car in front.
Now is maybe a good time to go back for the battle for P2, where Whip still manages to keep the gap just under half a second. But it looks like he's struggling a tiny bit in the corners where it matters the most, where he could make a pass.
Yeah, again, he's in that dirty air of De Jong in front, and obviously I don't think neither of them would want to risk too much battling each other, since they are teammates. But yeah, as a trailing car on this track, it's always going to be hard to just get that little bit extra if you're similar on pace to make the overtake. I also haven't seen De Jong punt anyone today, so that's good for him.
Yeah, Whippy should be careful if he gets past.
Yeah, I think.
But we see Nierges just had a really good exit out of turn 1, while Ryan Daniels had a not so good one, with a bit of lap traffic ahead, and now Nierges tries to go around the out. That's the battle for P6.
Oh, and actually does it on the outside there, so was wait, let's see. Yeah, so he did make that move for 6, that is then for Nierges. They are running in a bit of traffic though, which is might hinder Nierges again and allow.
Oh, battle for P10. We have two wide action, same position up the mountain. We have Elmas on the outside of the turn now and Haber on the inside.
Oh,
Elmas tries to outbrake himself a bit. Not twice to, but does that and then just manages to avoid the spin. And Haber goes through the inside and is now up in P10.
Let's see if we can actually get another replay of that. That was actually, even though he lost his position, that was actually well saved by Elms there. And good to see that he didn't actually make contact with Hawa there. So again, we're running up that first straight. Elms on the outside, just... Yeah, the car just gets loose a little bit. If these trees wouldn't be in the way, you would be able to see it better. But yeah, it does very well to recover the car and not hit Hawa.
Yeah, he gets caught out a bit by the off-camber of turn 2 around the outside. But now what we see is a good battle for P7 possibly, with Robert van den Hudding closing up to Ryan Daniels, who lost the position in the last lap to Nierges, we saw into turn 2, and now Robert van den Hudding maybe tries to do the same.
Yeah, van den Hudding definitely looking to make a move here. Seems that Ryan Daniels seems to be struggling a bit for pace at the moment. He's don't know if he has any damage or something. Might look like it, but yeah, Daniels doesn't make the turn. Ruben van den Hudding decides to pull out there, which is also always smart to do, especially with the ladies.
He was really confident. He didn't even try to lock the inside there and close the door.
Yeah, that definitely was close, but you know, both sensible drivers it seems. Don't know if we still have the battle going on between De Jong and Whip. It seems that they're in a bit of a stalemate. Doesn't seem that no one really has the edge so much. Yeah,
we saw before the pit stop that Robert and De Jong always had a bit of a pace advantage compared to Whip, but Whip was also fighting against Arnsman for almost the last 2/3 of the first stint, so...
Oh, I think we actually see Daniels there giving up his position to Van den Hudding. So, yeah, it definitely looks like Daniels has a bit of damage there, and he's just electing to not battle too much for his position there, because he knows his car's probably down a bit on top speed or something. Maybe he has lost a bit of downforce as well, and we do definitely see him struggling a bit with the pace now. His last lap was a 2:07.2, so...
While at the back we see Joshua Leighton still trying to gain some positions, and he's now closing into closing Harvey in. So Layson last lap, he's in did a 3.7, while Harvey did a 7.6. So we should close the gap relatively early in this lap. Then maybe trying to make a move towards the end of that lap.
And actually, Harvey here with the Concrete Cow Racing. He actually has a cow livery as well to go with his AMG, so it's unique. But yeah, it does seem that Harvey has just kind of been running his own race. Probably has been a bit in no man's land without now obviously Layson is catching up to him, but Layson is supposed to be pace-wise a bit more towards the front, so this probably won't be much of a battle here. Guessing Layson will get this done quite quickly.
Most likely, yes. We also see people like Levin Martins and Peter Parnell who are driving their own race after now in the second half of the race. Well, Peter Parnell has some decent pace in his Bentley at the moment. He definitely has the pace for like a top 8 finish, but obviously he had a crash earlier in the race just when the pit window started. He damaged his car because of that.
Yeah, so here Layson still trying to set up that move onto Harvey, but Harvey is actually defending, so he's not quite willing to give up his position here, which obviously it's all fair racing. Harvey can choose to defend, but he actually makes a mistake going into the last corner, which might allow Layson to crawl up the inside here. No, he does not.
Harvey manages to stay ahead. Now has a bit of a worse exit.
We'll actually see him run side by side up the mountain here. And I don't know, I always think, for me at least, this turn coming up, turn 2, I think it's always better to be on the inside, because you just have that off-camber bit there on the outside, and you're never going to get as much of a run out of there as the car on the inside.
Yeah, that's exactly what Layson experienced just now again. He was on the outside, couldn't make the move there, had to brake a bit earlier. Now Harvey still stays ahead. And while that happens, Domi also got past him, who's obviously 2 laps ahead of those 2 guys that are battling with each other.
Oh, actually, Harvey actually hit the wall there in the fast section, so... Oh, Layson!
Layson goes off.
Oh no, this has been his 3rd mistake there. Oh, and he's just gonna call it a day, I think.
So he has some damage and he's now towing back to the pit lane.
He is, I think he is called it. With 10 minutes to go, there's not gonna be much point in him continuing, probably. It's a real shame.
This is a difficult track.
Yeah, and I mean, just going back to the front here, Marcus Lawrence. I mean, flawless race, it seems to me. 36 seconds ahead of P2. Not really, yeah, I mean, he's been lapping into 202s pretty much all the race with some 201s in there as well, so yeah. With a track that's 41 degrees, I think that's really good pace right there, and he's just managed to put it. I mean, he's managed to keep it up the whole race, so fair play to him.
He still has to keep it together for the last 9 minutes of the race.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, if I were him, I would just take it easy, try to bring the car home, not push it too much, especially not in the downhill section. You can just take it easy. Obviously, some drivers do elect to, you know, keep pushing until the end, because it keeps their concentration up, so... maybe what he's doing.
You don't want to let off your pace too much, because you just get out of your rhythm, out of the zone, and then always a bit tricky. It can always lead to mistakes.
Yeah. So yeah, still about a second between second and third here. The Young and Whip, actually Whip closing up. Don't know, yeah, still quite a gap between the two. Again, yeah, Whip just doesn't have that little bit extra, I think, to make the overtake work. He's gonna have to have a real good couple of laps here. He has to really, I think the mountain is where he's losing his time quite a bit. Consistently losing about 2 or 3 tenths over the mountain compared to the Young, so... actually, last lap he had a better sector, I think, than the Young. But, yeah, overall he's been struggling to put that mountain section together, so...
Maybe he's just trying to go a bit easier on the tires to make a last push towards the end. Obviously, both have tires with the same age, they both pitted towards the end of the pit window.
Yeah, I mean, even for all we know, they might just be running together and not really trying to push each other anyway, or the other, just trying to make it home in second and third. That could also be an option, of course.
Just had Luke Levin Martins going to the pits again in the last 10 minutes, just to repair a bit of damage. Comes out in P14. Not really anyone close to him at the moment.
We do have a bit of a battle here between Daniels and Van den Hudding. Now actually we see Daniels is back on the back of Van den Hudding, so he suddenly regained his confidence and his pace, and he's running within half a second now of Van den Hudding, so that might be a battle to watch here.
Yeah, both of the cars don't look that comfortable on top of the mountain. Both are going really close to the wall. Yeah, trying to maximize all the road that is available to them.
Yeah, we do also know that the I think the Porsche is one of the worst cars on the straight. So maybe if Daniels can capitalize down the hill, I'm not sure if he's down on top speed at all with his damage, but I mean he seems to be right on the back of Van den Hudding here, so maybe in the downhill straight he'll be able to do something.
As we now see Miguel Fonseca just in front of them, being a back marker. He's running in P17. He had a really clean race. I think he put it once for a bit of damage early on, but he's keeping the car relatively clean.
Yep, Daniels actually has a really good run here now as well.
Fonseca doing a really good job, just staying to the right, not interfering with that battle at all, while Daniels has a really good run.
So Daniels, I think, definitely a good option trying to get on the outside of the corner here. Oh, he actually loses out there. So yeah, I don't know. It does seem like Daniels is missing a bit of top end speed there, because I think a Ferrari should always outdrag a Porsche on a straight.
Maybe he's also running a really high downforce setup. It's a possibility, but could be because he has a bit of damage as well.
Yeah, we'll see towards the end of the race if he can make that work. Now, I think we just missed that. Yeah, so Whip did actually manage to get into P2. I do not know if something happened to the Young.
Looks like last lap de Jong did a 5.8 while Whip did a 3.8, so that was a 2-second difference, which explains the almost 2-second gap between those two.
Yeah, I do see a bit of damage on the left flank of de Jong, so maybe he did tap a wall somewhere in the downhill section, again in the S's or something. That's very likely. So yeah, Whip actually into P2, but regardless, I think they can both be happy with their positions at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely a really good result for the team, and team standings for them, if they can keep it together. Which they probably will. Yeah, it looks like Robert Jan de Jong has quite a bit of damage on his left-hand side, so
yeah,
crushed the wall somewhere. I hope.
That's a shame for him.
It was not a contact between those two, because that would be a shame, but...
Yeah, it's still a shame though for his race, since he ran about 55 minutes, he ran really well, and then those last 5 minutes just couldn't quite hold it together, but I mean, still P3, so regardless, he's gonna be happy with the result, I think.
Yeah, he started in P5 and then obviously in P4 because Falkenberg unfortunately had some issues at the start of the race with his wheel and his internet. So he has a bit more luck next week, because he had the pace in the qualifying definitely, but just couldn't show it in the race.
Yeah, I think Falkenberg has definitely been one of the a bit more of the underdogs. So we've seen him pull out quite decent pace on some tracks. On some others, he's a bit behind, but yeah, he definitely has the capability. I think if he gets enough practice in and stuff to be near the front. So hopefully for next race he can. His internet might be fixed again, and he can actually do a proper race.
Ryan Daniels is still really close to Robert van den Hudding, and just tries to see where he can maybe spot again. While Marcus Lawrence is now turning into his last lap of the race, I assume.
Yes, this will be the last lap.
Give it all you can.
I don't know about you, but to me, like the in-game voice that says like, you know, like green flag and all that, he sounds a bit like Lewis Hamilton. Whenever he speaks over the radio. I mean, I'm not saying I'm liking it, but I think he has a bit of Lewis Hamilton in there.
It is a British voice, though.
Yeah, it has a bit of that same tone. Bit nagging, you know, always like moaning about everything.
Yeah, moaning about the tires.
Okay, man, last lap. Okay.
So someone is not moaning about the tires. Oh! Wes Daniels, Ryan Daniels just clipped the exit of the Forest elbow, and that probably seals the deal for Ruben van den Hudding to stay in P7 now for the last lap that they are just coming up to now.
Yeah, I don't see, unless Van den Hudding makes a big mistake here, I don't see Daniels overtaking him anymore, although he does get really close under braking there. But, equally so.
It's time to watch to Marcus Lawrence, who's now exiting the Forest on his last lap.
Yes, indeed. So, Marcus Lawrence, very clean race. You can see his car as well is still pristine condition. He's just run his race and ran it pretty much perfectly, I think. So I'll be very happy with that, to be able to return to a win after Suzuka last time around, where he made a bit of a mistake. But as he's coming up to the last corner here, he will finish his race and have a well-deserved victory. So Marcus Lawrence is your winner for round 6 of the PCDC ACC League. And so far, let's see, Whip is now coming down the mountain. Yeah, De Jong has really dropped back, so I think he has quite a bit of damage there. But regardless,
he cannot pass Whip anymore, so he probably just took a bit of speed out, making sure to secure the result for the team.
Yeah, so we do see Elms has already finished, and Whip here is gonna get a very nice P2.
Well deserved.
Yeah, really solid drive from both of the Benny the Bentley boys. So yeah, Whip will be very happy with that. As we also see De Jong coming across the line. Meanwhile, we've also had Tuck and Elms come across the line, both teammates.
Then we have Domi also in P5 after now Denesi just crossed the finish line for P4. Domi also with a relatively quiet rate.
Yeah, Domi has actually gone under the radar, but actually finished really nicely here. So I thought top 5 for Domi. He's going to be really happy with that one, I think, because I don't think he's managed that so far this season. So yeah, well done on his part. And then the biggest gainer of today, Nergesh, just crosses the line. He went from P23 all the way up into P6 after his quali ban, so fair play to him. Someone still finishing here is Ryan Daniels. Oh, Ryan Daniels actually did make an overtake on Van den Hudding. in the last
Did he?
lap then, yeah, so Van den
Maybe
Hutting...
Ruben van der Hutting did make a mistake then.
Yeah, so
His
Van den
last
Hutting
lap
must
was
have made
not
a
good.
mistake.
It was a 13.7. He lost a lot of time there, so he probably made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, so Daniel's P7, he will be really happy with that. Van den Hutting 8th, and then Howard 9th. And to round out the top 10, it will be Elms. So yeah, I think the drivers will be very happy that the race has ended, because it's a very tricky and demanding track. They'll definitely be a bit tired now from concentrating so long, I think.
Definitely.
And let's see if we can actually get a couple of people in here. I think probably the top 3, right?
I think we can start with Marcus Lawrence and then get both of the teammates from the Benny the Bentley
All right.
team after.
Yeah, sure thing. Hello, Marcus.
Hello.
So, very good race for you. It seemed like everything went pretty smoothly for you today.
Yeah, I didn't really have any competition. I think Thomas got surprised by Lee Sean getting him and the end of quali. And because I expected him to be my main competitor, but yeah, I think I don't know what happened.
You missed the pit window.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. But what happened to Lee Sean as well? Because he was P2, and I think something happened there as well because he dropped back and I lapped him. So
Yeah, he I think he hit the wall 3 times about, I think, on the top of the hill, where he like oversteered going up the skyline.
oh no.
And yeah, he lost it a couple of times there, so he was nearly all the way at the back, which was really surprising to see, actually. But yeah, no, your race looked really well. It seemed just like a smooth operator out there.
Yeah, I was just lapping. I did push like after the pits when I had fresh tires. I tried to do like my best lap, and I think I managed to 1.5 or something like that. So and then after that, I just settled in and just brought it home.
Yeah, I mean, it was we saw you definitely were turning the fastest laps on the track today. So I mean, a well-deserved victory, and we'll see you back next week.
Yeah, it beats last week, so
Yeah,
always got to
definitely.
be good to come back with a winner.
All right, we'll see you next week then.
Cheers,
Congratulations.
dear.
Congrats. Bye bye.
See if
All
we
right.
can Robert Jan de Jong and Whit from the channel.
Let's see if we can get the Benny the Bentley boys in here. So.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
So, gentlemen, a short view back to the past. 30 years ago, Nicky Lauda told us, take a trade monkey, place him into the cockpit, and he is able to drive the car. 30 years later, Whit made a P2, while Robert Jan de Jong made a mistake, and it looked very complicated.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It was because of the buttons. Definitely.
is there too much under effort, under pressure for you? And what are your wishes for the future races and concerning for the technical program in this ACC season?
What the hell question is that?
He's doing me from Formula One.
I will send you a video later.
But to answer your question, I wish I had 5 liters more fuel and not having to fiddle with my mapping everywhere.
So it
Oh.
was too much technical stuff.
Yes, it was my buttons.
Multi-21, multi-21.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Good race.
That's why we were wondering, because you dropped back quite a bit towards the end there. But did you make a mistake anywhere, or was it just the fuel that you were?
Well, I made a mistake because I was like constantly adjusting my mapping on the engine, and then after that I just had to save so much fuel in order to make it. So I went into mapping 5 or 6 in order to make it.
Oh, right.
Yeah, still a double podium. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
You started, I think, in P5 or P6, and now ended up in P2, like.
Yeah, no, I think it's P7 or something like that. I had Arisman all over the back. I managed to get past him, and then I had him all over the back of me. And so I was defending pretty hard. And then I thought, oh, I'm coming into the pits. I'll let him pass down the cutting. So he went past me, and I just sort of tucked in behind him. And then I went in the pits, and he didn't go in the pits. I was like, oh, he's missed it. He's missed his pit stop.
Yeah, we did see that happen, and I think that's the first time we've actually seen someone miss the pit window completely. So
I think it's because he was trying so hard to get past me, and then when I let him pass at the bottom of the thing, he was like, right, I can't let him back past. I think his mind wasn't on the pit stops; it was on keeping the position.
yeah,
Because he was quicker than me, but he just couldn't get past. So I think he was determined to stay ahead.
but I mean, in the end, well deserved for you guys, second and third. That'll boost up the Bentley team. Both of you quite up a bit in the championship standings as well. So really nice for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, cheers, thank you.
All right, congratulations, and we'll see you next week, hopefully.
Thank you, man. We'll be there.
All right, so with that all being said, if anyone does wish to join our league, you can go to pcdc.link and you will find our Discord there. You can also check us out on youtube.com/c/PCDC Motorsports, or you can find us on Twitter on www.twitter.com/PCDC Motorsports. And then all we have to do now is say goodbye. So Walter, I might see you some other times.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was a really fun race to watch and to commentate with you.
Yeah, I do think we do need like better answers though for your questions next time.
Yeah, they ignored it a bit. It's unprofessional. But okay, that happened.
Yeah. Well, we will see everyone next week for our next race, and be sure to join us if you're looking for a gentlemanly league to race in. See you next week.
See ya.